welcome to Mathematics Tour. This is paper 2, component 2-3. There are 23 questions in this paper, and I will solve the whole question at once. If you are seeing this channel for the first time, please kindly subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button. Also, like, comment, and share this video. Let's jump into the first question. Complete the statement. The diagram has rotational symmetry of order dash. The order of rotational symmetry is the number of times an object or a shape looks like itself when turned from 0 degree to 360 degrees. So if you look at this object, it looks like itself twice when turned from 0 degree to 360 degrees. So the first one will be probably at 90, then the second one will be probably at 270. So if you have your rotational, if you have your tracing paper, you place it on it, then you draw a line to indicate your 0 degree, then you turn it around, then you see that it looks like itself 2 times. So that is the simplest way you could get the order of rotational symmetry. But if you are very conversant with it, so it will be very obvious to you. Then let's go to part B. On the diagram, draw all the lines of symmetry. So a line of symmetry is a line that divides a shape into 2 equal halves in such a way that when the 2 halves are flipped over one another, so they fit in perfectly. So if you look at the first diagonal line here, that is, if you draw a line from this point to this point, you have a line of symmetry. And also, if you draw another one from this point to this point, you have another line of symmetry. So let me join them together. These are the 2 lines of symmetry, so it is easy to draw that. Let's go to the next question. That will be question 2. A film lasts for 2 hours 50 minutes. The film ends at 20:05. Find the time the film starts. So for this, what you need to do, you need to have your hour and the minute here. Then the time the film ends is 23 hours 5 minutes, so you put it here. Then you subtract 2 hours 50 minutes from it, so that will give you the time the film starts. So you have 2 hours 50 minutes. Then we subtract. So of course, you cannot take away 50 minutes from 5 minutes. Then you need to borrow an hour from this 23. So you have 22 hours left. But mind you, the 1 hour you borrowed is equivalent to 60 minutes. So 60 minutes added to 5 minutes will give you 65 minutes. Then you can subtract 50 minutes from 65 minutes. So that gives 15 minutes. Then 22 minutes subtract 22 hours subtract 2 hours, so that gives you 20 hours. So that means the film starts at 20:15 or simply 8:15 p.m. So I'll write 20:15 here. So let's go to the next question. That's question 3. Find the total surface area of the cuboid. So the total surface area of a cuboid will be the addition of 2 into bracket of 2 sides. So that is, you have 2 into, okay, to make it easy, so you can say the length is equals to 8 centimeters, then the breadth is equals to 3 centimeters, then the height is equals to 5 centimeters. So the area, the total surface area of the cuboid will be 2 into bracket. So you need to combine 2 of these dimensions, that is length and breadth first, then plus 2 into length and the height, then plus 2 into the breadth and the height. So that will be the total surface area of the cuboid. Then we can now key in the values. 2 into the length is 8, that is 8 times 3 here, then plus 2 into 8 times 5, and finally 2 into 3 times 5. Let's scroll down a little bit. We have 2 into 8 by 3, that is 24. Then add 2 into 8 by 5, that is 40, plus 2 into 3 by 5, that will be 15. So you can proceed by multiplying each of these by 2. So here you have 48, add 2 by 40 will be 80, then add 2 by 15, that will be 30. So if you add these numbers together, that will be 158. So that means the total surface area of the cuboid is 158 squared centimeter. So let's go to the next question. That will be question 4. V is equals to U minus 9.8 T. Find the value of V when U is equals to 4 and T is equals to -7. So what we need to do is to key in the given parameters here. So that will be V into 4 subtract 9.8 into -7. So this will be V equals to 4. Then this and this combine together to become positive. Then 9.8 by 7, that will give you 68.6. Then if you add 4 and 68.6 together, you get 72.6. So that means the value of V will be equals to 72.6. So the next question is question 5. So we have to simplify d to the power of 8 divided by d to the power of 2. So you apply division law of indices. The base is d. So you select one of the bases, then you subtract the power. 8 subtract 2. So that will be d to the power of 6. So we have d to the power of 6 here. Question 6. At the end of the day, a shopkeeper has 12 tins of cat food. At the end of the day, a shopkeeper has 12 tins of cat food left. This is 3/13 of the number he had at the beginning of the day. Calculate the number of tins he had at the beginning of the day. So what you need to do is to flip these 3 out of 13. That will be 13 out of 3 multiplied by 12. So that will give you the number of tins he had at the beginning of the day. And this will be 52. So we have 52 here. That is pretty easy. So the next question is question 7. A spinner has 5 sides. Each side is painted red, blue, green, yellow, or orange. The table shows some of the probabilities of the spinner landing on each color. So we are asked to complete the table. So we know that all these probabilities, including the probability of the orange, add up to 1. So to get the probability of the orange, so we need to subtract all these numbers from 1. So that will be 1 subtract 0.3 subtract 0.16 subtract 0.18 subtract 0.25. So if you do this, you will get this will give you 0.11. So that means the probability of orange is 0.11. Then part B, Dan spins the spinner once. Find the probability that the spinner lands on red or blue. So in probability, or means addition. That means we need to add the probability of red to probability of blue. So that will be 0.3 add 0.16, and this will give you 0.46. So that means the probability that the spinner lands on red or blue will be 0.46. Question 8. Describe fully the transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. So for this, if you look at the two shapes, that is the object and the image, A is the object, B is the image. So it is very obvious that this is rotation, okay? So towards this direction, because if you label the point, this is A, this is, sorry, we can't use A, let's use another value. Let's say this is P, this is Q, and this is R. So if you look at the image now, this point remains P, y P prime. So y this will be Q prime, and this will be R prime. So that is rotation, and it is obvious about 90 degrees. And we need to get the direction is clockwise. The direction is clockwise. So to be sure of the degree of rotation, so we need to bisect corresponding points. Also, we also need to get the center of rotation. Okay, so let's do that now. So I'll join corresponding point together. So let's start with point P and point Q. I will join them together and bisect the line. So I have bisected point P and P prime. So let's bisect point R and R prime, and where the two perpendicular bisector meet will be the center of the origin. Also, I have joined point R and R prime and bisected it. So it is obvious that the two perpendicular bisector meet here. So that means the center of rotation is the origin, that is x is equals to 0 and y equals to 0. The next thing we need to do is to get the angle of rotation. To do this, we draw a line from the center of rotation to the object and see how the point moves towards the image. Okay, so let's draw a line from point P to the origin. Okay, I have drawn a line from point P to the center of rotation, and I place the protractor on that line with the center of the protractor on the center of rotation. So if you look at point P prime here, it is here, so it is 90 degrees. So if you check very well, so it passes through 90 degrees. That is this point here. Okay, so this is 90 degrees. So we are done. So we can remove this and say that, okay, the name of the transformation is rotation. You can write rotation here. Then we have the degree to be 90 degrees clockwise. Then the center of rotation is 0, 0. So let's go to the next question. That will be question 9. The distance time graph shows information about Kai's journey from home to office. Calculate the average speed in km/h for Kai's journey from home to the office. The distance covered is 65 kilometers as indicated here. Then the time taken will be from 10 o'clock to this, okay, to this line. You have to trace it down. So that will be 12 o'clock. So you need to subtract 10 o'clock from 12 o'clock. That will be 2 hours. So to find or to calculate the average speed, so we use the formula. The speed is equals to, average speed will be total distance cover, that is the total distance, over total time taken. Okay, so and that will be 65 out of 2. Then this will give us 32.5 km/h. So that will be 32.5. Then part B When Kai arrives at the office, he finds his meeting is cancelled. He immediately returns home at a constant speed of 50 kilometers per hour. Complete the distance time graph to show his journey home. What we need to do to complete the graph is time. Obviously, we know that he's returning from this point and is coming down here to the x-axis, but at which time? So we need to calculate the time. Okay, so we already know that the speed is 50 kilometers per hour and the distance remains 65. So to calculate the time, so it will be time is equals to distance over speed. Then the distance is 65 and then the speed is 50 kilometers per hour. This will give 1.3 hour. So we need to convert it to hour and minute. So that means we have 1 hour plus 0.3 times 60. So that will convert this to minutes. So that will be 1 hour plus, this will give us 18 minutes. So that means we need to go to the grid and locate the point of 1 hour 18 minutes from where he returned home, that is from 12 o'clock. Okay, so that means from 12 o'clock 1 hour will be here. Okay, so each line is 3 minutes. Okay, so we need to count 6 lines, so that will be here. So it will be this line, so it's coming to this point here. Okay, so let's draw from the point here, okay, and join it to that point on x-axis. So this is how to complete the graph. So you draw a line from this point here and down to where you have 1 hour 18 minutes, which is this point. Let's go to the next question. Without using a calculator, work out 5 whole 11 out of 12 plus 2 whole 1 out of 4. You must show all your working and give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. Okay, so let's write this. We have 5 11 out of 12 add 2 1 out of 4. So let's add the whole numbers together. 5 whole add 2 whole. Then we have the LCM of 12. Okay, before this, let me write what we have left. So we have 11 out of 12 add 1 out of 4. So you can use any method of your choice to do this. You can use the LCM method, you can use common denominator, and you can use any convenient method. Okay, so 5 add 2, that will be 7. Okay, then the LCM of 12 and 4 is 12. So this 12 divided by this 12 is 1. 1 multiplied by 11, you have 11. Add 12 divided by this 4, you have 3. 3 times 1, we have 3. So that means we have 7 whole 15. So that means we have 7 whole, then 14 out of 12. So 2 goes in 12 6 times, 2 goes in 14, that is 7 times. That means we have 7 whole 7 out of 6. But wait a minute, 6 can go in 7 once. So that means we're going to get 1 whole. So that means we have 7 whole. So plus 6 goes in 7, that is 1 whole, then 1 out of 6 left. So we can add these two whole numbers together. That will be 8 whole number, then 1 out of 6. So we have 8 whole number, 1 out of 6. Then the next question is question 11. So we are to complete the Venn diagram. So we have the universal set, we have set P and set Q respectively. So you have the common ones, we have E to be here, we have G to be here, and we have R to be here. As the two sets have these three elements in common, so look at this. R is here, R is here, then G is here, G is here, E is here, and E is here. So we can fill in the remaining ones. We have A, B, and L. Then here we have M, T, O, and Y. So I think that will be how to complete that. So let me write this. This is B. Okay. So now let's scroll down. Shade the region A complement intersection B. That means B only. So you shade only this side. So that is B only. So let me remove this. Yes. So that is B only. So the next question is question 12. The position vector of A is 5, 3, and BA is 4 against 8. So show that OB is equals to 4. Show that OB is equals to 5.1, correct to 1 decimal place. Okay. So for the first one, let's say you have a point here, that is point O. Okay, and you have A to be here, then we have B to be here, and we can move from B to A in this direction. So from this one now, if you want to move from B to A, that means you have to get BA to B. That means you firstly move to O, we have BO, then plus OA, but we don't have BO, so we can turn it around to be OB. So that will be BA. So we need to change the direction. So by putting minus sign here, then we now have OB. Okay, then add OA. So we want to show that OB is equals to 5.1. That means we need to make OB the subject of the formula. So I'll bring OB to this side. So that will be OB. Then equals to, I already have OA by the right hand side. Then BA, we go there and turn to minus BA. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use. So OB is equals to OA, then minus BA. So let's key in the values. OA is A, that's vector A. So we have 5, 3. Then subtract BA is 4, 8. Then subtract 5, take away 4, that will be 1. Then 3, take away 8, that will be negative 5. So you have negative 5 here. So this is OB. Now the final part is to find the magnitude or modulus of OB. So that's what we need to do. So to do this, we make use of the formula. So OB will be equals to square root of x squared plus y squared. So let me demarcate this. Okay, so then the magnitude of OB will be this. Then that will be equals to, the x is 1 squared, add negative 5 squared. So you have your square root, and this will be 1 add 5. Okay, this will be 1 add 25. So and finally you get square root of 26. Okay, so square root of 26 is approximately 5.1. So we have shown that. Then question 13, calculate this. You can easily make use of your calculator and you get your answer straight away. This is 1 mark. So root 14 is 6.48. Add 3 to the power of 0.4 is 1.552. You add them together, you have 8.03, and you can use your calculator straight away and get your answer. So question 14, write 0.581 as a fraction. You must show how you're working and give your answer in the simplest form. Okay, so let's x to be equals to 0.58 dot here and dot here. So this is a recurring decimal number, so with two recurring digits. Okay, so what we need to do is to multiply this. Let me call this 1. So let's call this equation 1. So we need to make the repeated digits to come immediately after the decimal point. So for that to happen, we need to multiply this equation 1 by 10. So if you multiply it by 10, we have 10x to be equals to, then this will be 5.81. Then you put the sign of recurring decimal there. So the next step is to multiply. This is equation 2. So let's call this equation 2. So the next step is to multiply equation 2 by the power of 10. Okay, so depending on the number of repeated digits. So we have 2 repeated digits, that is 10 to the power of 2, which is 100. So if you multiply by 100, that will be 1000x now equals to 581.8, then dot here. Okay, so because the actual meaning of this is 5.818181 and so on and so forth. So even though we multiply by 100 and we have 581 here, okay, if you multiply by 100, so that means it will shift, the decimal point will shift to 1 and 2, it will shift here. So you can see we still have the repeated digits, so 818181 continues. So that's why you are seeing the 81 here. Okay, so now I can call this equation 3. Then the final step, we have to do equation 3 subtract equation 2. So if you do 1000x subtract 10x, that will give you 990x. So that's what you get there. Then equals to, if you do this, that means to be 581 subtract 5, and the recurring decimal part will cancel out. Okay, because in the first one we have, in equation 2 we have 5.8181 and so on and so forth. In equation 3 we have 581.8181 and so on and so forth. You see, from this decimal point, okay, and from this decimal point, they will cancel out. So that means we are only left with 581 and 5. So 581 subtract 5, so that will give us 576. 576. Then if you now divide both sides by 990, so that means this will cancel this. Okay, we have x to be equals to 22 out of 55. When you simplify this, you have 22 out of, so we have 22 out of 55 when you simplify this. So our answer is 22 out of 55. So the next question is question 15. The number of trees in a forest is decreasing exponentially at a rate of 1.75% per year. 11 years ago, there were 980 trees. Calculate the number of trees in the forest now. Give your answer correct to the nearest integer. So this is exponential decay. Okay, anytime you have exponential decay or exponential growth, so you make use of this formula: y is equals to a into b to the power of t, where y is the amount, that is the new value, and a is the principal, that is the initial value, and b is your rate, which could either be 1 minus r or 1 plus r. So it will be 1 plus r if you have exponential growth. But if you have exponential decay, you have b to be 1 minus r, and t is the time. Okay, so if you write out the parameters here, r is equals to 1.75%, and this is the same as 0.0175. Okay, and the time t is giving us 11 years, and the initial value, okay, which serves as the principal will be A equals to 980. So we need to calculate the number of trees in the forest now. So that is the value of y. So using this, and we know that we are dealing with exponential decay, so the value of b will be 1 subtract r. Okay, so using this formula now, y equals to a into b will now be 1 minus r to the power of t. So let's key in the values. We have y to be equals to a is 980 into bracket 1 subtract 0.175 to the power of 11. So this will give us y to be equals to 980 into brackets. So this will give us 0.9825 to the power of 11 if you subtract 0.175 from 1. And finally, we need to find the value of 0.9825 to the power of 11. So that will be y equals to 980 into bracket 0.4249. If you punch this from your calculator, then we have y to be equals to 980 into bracket 0.8235. Okay, so this will give us 807, that is 807. Let's go to the next question. That will be question 16. The volume of a cylinder is 1970 cube centimeter. The height of the cylinder is 12.8 centimeter. Calculate the radius of the cylinder. So from here we have the volume. Let's say the volume is V equals to 1970 cube centimeters. Then we have the height to be 12.8 centimeters. Then we need to find the radius of the cylinder. So we already know that the volume of a cylinder is equals to the base area. So the base area is a circle, so that will be area of a circle, which is pi r squared times height, okay, which is h. So let's key in the values. We have the volume to be 1970, then equals to the value of pi is given as 3.14 multiplied by the radius, that's r squared, then multiplied by the height, that will be 12.8. So if you multiply 3.14 by 12.8, okay, so you will get 40.192. So that means we have 1970 to be equals to 40.192, then multiply by the radius squared. Now finally we need to divide both sides by 40.192, okay, so to get the value of r, that's 40.192. so this will cancel this, we're left with r squared here. So we have r squared to be equals to r squared to be equals to 49.01. So we can now take square root of both sides. So that will be the square will cancel the square root here. We are left with r equals to, so this will give you 7.00. Okay, so that means the radius of the cylinder is 7.00 centimeters. So we go to the next question. That will be question 17. Rearrange the formula to make m the subject. Okay, so here we need to firstly cross multiply. We have rm to be equals to 2 into bracket m minus k. So we have rm to be equals to, let's expand this bracket. We have 2m minus 2k. Then we need to make m to be by a side, to be on the same side. We need to make m to be on the same side. So we have rm minus 2m to be equals to negative 2k. Then we can factor out m here. So you have m into r minus 2 to be equals to minus 2k. Then finally we need to divide both sides by r minus 2. So we have r minus 2 here, r minus 2 here. Then this will cancel this. So we are left with m to be equals to minus 2k everything over r minus 2. So we can write our answer here, minus 2k over r minus 2. So the next question is question 18. Y is inversely proportional to the cube root of x plus 5 when x is equals to 3, y is equals to 12. Find y when x is equals to 2. So firstly, we need to turn this statement to mathematical statement. So y is inversely proportional to the cube root of x plus 5. So that means you have 1 out of cube root of x plus 5. So this is what we have here. Then we can now proceed as this. Y is equals to, we need a constant to replace this sign of proportionality. Then we have to be this cube root of x plus 5. So we already have the value we already have the value of x to be equals to 3, y to be equals to 12. So let's key in the values of x and y respectively. So we have 12 to be equals to k into square root of x is now 3 add 5, cube roots of 3 add 5. Then we have 12 to be equals to k over cube roots of 8. So which is the same thing as 12 to be equals to k over 2. That's the cube root of 8 is 2. Then if you cross multiply, k is equals to 24. So that is the value of k. So we can substitute the value of k here. Let me label this 1. So then we can now say that y is equals to, k is 24. We have 24 over root x plus 5. Now we need to find the value of y when x is equals to 22. So that means we can plug in the value of x here. So we have 24 out of, sorry, I omitted cube here. So we have cube roots sorry, I omitted 3 here. Then this should be 24 out of cube root of x is now 22. 22 add 5. So that will be equals to 24 over cube root of 27. So that will be 3. Okay, so cube root of 27 is 3. That means you have 24 out of 3. And finally, our answer will be 8. Finally, y is equals to 8. So let's go to the next question. So that will be question 19. Solve the equation x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals to 0. So if you write it down, we have x squared plus 5x minus 7. Solve the equation x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals to 0. You must show all your working and give your answers correct to 2 decimal places. So we have x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals to 0. So if you compare this quadratic equation with the general form of quadratic equation, so we see that the value of a is equals to 1, b is equals to positive 5, and c is equals to negative 7. So using the quadratic formula, x equals to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, then everything over 2a. So let's plug in the values of the parameters. So here we have x to be equals to minus 5 plus or minus square root of 5 squared subtract 4 into 1 into negative 7, then everything over 2 into 1. Then we have x to be equals to minus 5 plus or minus square root of 5 squared is 25. Then minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 times minus 7, that will be plus 28. Everything out of 2. Okay, so we can now have x equals to minus 5 plus or minus square root of, if you add 25 to 28, so you get 53, then everything over 2. Then you have x to be equals to minus 5 plus or minus, so the square root of 53 is 7.28. You have 7.28, then everything over 2. So finally you can now separate them. So I can write up here, so I can say that x is equals to minus 5 plus 7.28, everything over 2. Okay, if you simplify this, so this will give you the value of x to be equals to so this is equals to 2.28 out of 2. Then finally you get the value of x to be 1.14. So that is one solution. Or you see that x is equals to minus 5 minus 7.28 over 2. And if you do this again, so the value of x will be minus 6.14 minus 6.14. So that means the values of x are 1.14 or x equals to minus 6.14. So let's go to the next question. That is question 20. We have two functions, f of x and g. Let's go to the next question. That is question 20. We have two functions, f of x and g of x respectively. Find f of x plus 2. Okay, so given that f of x equals to 6x minus 7, then f of x plus 2 will be, anywhere we see x, we'll put x plus 2 to be 6 into x plus 2. Then subtract 7. This will be 6x plus 12 subtract 7, and this will be 6x add 5. So f of x plus 2 is 6x add 5. Then we are asked to find inverse of x. So that's part B. So we say from f of x to be equals to 6x minus 7. So firstly, let's substitute y for f of x. That means we have y equals to 6x minus 7. Then we need to make x the subject of the formula. That means negative 7 comes to the left hand side and becomes positive 7. So we have y add 7, then to be equals to 6x. So next we divide both sides by 6. So we have x to be equals to y add 7, everything out of 6. Okay, so finally we substitute x for f of x inverse and y for x. So that means we're going to have f of x inverse equals that means we have f of x inverse to be equals to x plus 7 out of 6. So that is what we get. So the inverse of f of x is giving us x plus 7 out of 6. Then let's go to the next question. Find x when g of x equals to f of 22. So f of x is giving us 6x minus 7. So let's write it here. So find part C, find x when g of x equals to f of 22. So that means we have g of x to be equals to f of 22. So g of x is given as x to the power of negative 3 equals to f of x equals to 6x minus 7. So for us to get f of 22, that means anywhere we see x, we put 22. That will be 6 into 22, then subtract 7. Remember, f of x is 6x subtract 7. So you replace x with what? 22. So that gives us x to the power of negative 3 to be equals to 6 multiplied by 22. That will give you 132. Then subtract 7. So x to the power of negative 3 to be equals to 125. Then we can write 125 such a way that the power will be 3. That means we have x to the power of negative 3 to be equals to 5 to the power of positive 3. This is the same as 125. Okay, and finally 3 goes in 3 once. 3 goes in 3 once here. We are left with 5 to the power of negative 1 equals to 5 to the power of 1. So here we can multiply the powers to be, here we can multiply the powers by negative 1 because I want the x to be positive. So that will be times negative 1 times negative 1. So minus 1 times minus 1, that will be positive 1, which is the same thing as x, to be equals to 1 times negative 1 remains negative 1. That will be 5 to the power of negative 1, which is the same thing as x equals to 1 out of 5. So x is equals to 1 out of 5. So that is the value of x. So let's go to the next question. Simplify 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 out of 4x squared minus 9. So the numerator is a quadratic expression and the denominator is a quadratic expression. So let's try to factorize the two expressions respectively. So this will be equals to, since this is a quadratic expression, we can use the factorization method. We're going to have 2x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 12 out of 4x squared minus 3 squared. Yes, so it's equals to, we can proceed. This will give us 2x into x plus 4, then minus 3 into x plus 4, then over, so we can write this to be 2 squared x squared minus 3 squared. So I'm just showing this bit by bit so that you can see how it looks at the end. So this will be equals to, we have 2x minus 3, then into x plus 4. So we can now write this to be a unit, that is 2x squared x squared. We can write it as 2x, then all squared, then minus 3 squared. So we now have difference of 2 squares, so we can proceed with the denominator. We are done with the numerator. We have 2x minus 3 into x plus 4, and this will be 2x minus 3 into 2x plus 3. Remember, when you have a squared minus b squared, it will be a minus b into a plus b. That's what I did there. So 2x minus 3, we cancel 2x minus 3. So the final answer is x plus 4 out of 2x plus 3. So the next question is question 22. These are first 4 terms of a sequence: 2.75, 6, 11.25, and 20. The nth term of this sequence is given as this. Then calculate the value of a and the value of b. So from this, we need to make use of the, so from this term, from the given sequence, we can get the values of a and b respectively by using this and this, okay, to use the whole number. Okay, so this is n equals to 2 will give us 6, and then n equals to 4 will give us 20. So we need to key in the values of n into this nth term to get the two simultaneous equations, and we solve them concurrently or simultaneously to get the values of a and b respectively. So for the first one, we have the nth term to be equals to 1 out of 4 n cubed plus an squared plus bn. So when n is equals to 2, that means the term should be 6 equals to 1 out of 4 into 2 to the power of 3 add a into 2 to the power of 2 plus b into 2. Okay, so if you simplify this will give you 6 to be equals to, let's say, okay, 1 out of 4 into 8 plus a into 4 plus 2b. 6 equals to 2 plus 4a plus 2b. So let's collect like times. 2 comes here. We have 6 minus 2 to be equals to 4a plus 2b. Then we have 4 to be equals to 4a plus 2b. So we can reduce this by 2. So let's divide through by 2. We have 2 to be equals to 2a plus b. So we can write this to be 2a plus b to be equals to 2. So this is equation 1. Okay, so let's do the same thing for n equals to 4. Okay, so let's do it side by side. So here we have the nth term to be this, and then the value of n is equals to 4. So let's plug in the values. So we already know that when n is equals to 4, the term will be 20. So we can say 20 equals to 1 out of 4 into 4 to the power of 3, then plus a into 4 to the power of 2 plus b into 4. So we have 20 to be equals to 1 out of 4 into 64 plus a into 16, then plus b plus 4b. 20 equals to 4 goes in 4 once, 4 goes in 64 16 times. So we have 16 here, then plus 16a plus 4b. So we can collect like times again and bring 16 to the left hand side. That will be negative 16. So you have 20 negative 16 to be equals to 16a add 4b. So we have 4 to be equals to 16a add 4b. So 4 can go all through. So let's divide through by 4. We have 1 to be equals to 4a plus b. So which can be written as 4a plus b to be equals to 1. So we can call this equation 2. So let's solve equation 1 and equation 2 simultaneously. So let's solve equations 1 and 2 simultaneously. So we have 2a plus b to be equals to 2. This is equation 1. Then 4a plus b to be equals to 1, and this will be equation 2. So if you subtract like this, so that means we have 2a minus 4a, that will be minus 2a. Then b will cancel b. Then we have 2 minus 1, we have 1. So let's divide both sides by negative 2. That will give us the value of a to be equals to 1 over negative 2, which is the same thing as minus 1 out of 2. So you write it here, a is equals to minus 1 over 2. So let's key in, or let's substitute the value of a to be equals to minus 1 over 2 into equation 1. So let's put a equals to minus 1 over 2 into equation 1. So that will be 2 into minus 1 over 2, then plus b equals to 2. So 2 cancel 2 here, we're left with minus 1 plus b equals to 2. Let's collect like times. B is equals to 2 plus 1 and b is equals to 3. So that is the value of b. So the next question is the last one. A train travels between two stations So let's say this is the first station, S1, and this is the second station, S2. The distance between the stations is 220 kilometers. That means from here to here is 220 kilometers to the nearest kilometer. The speed of the train is 125 kilometers per hour, correct to the nearest 5 kilometers per hour. Calculate the upper bound for the time the journey takes. Calculate the upper bound for the time the journey takes. Give your answer in hours and minutes. So we know that speed is equals to distance over time, and to get the time, so we make time the subject of the formula. That will be distance over speed. Okay, but we want to get the upper bound for the time. Okay, so the upper bound for the time, let me denote it by this, okay, will be equals to the upper bound of the distance, d, over the lower bound of the speed. So that is what I'm going to do. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is to get the upper bound of the distance and lower bound of the speed. So that is what I need to do. Okay, so we can rule, let's have it here. The first one, we need to calculate the, so for the distance, so let's write the distance here. So for the distance, we need the upper bound of the distance. So the distance is 220 kilometers, correct to the nearest kilometer. So to get the lower and the upper bounds, even though we only need the upper bound, okay, so that means it has to be 220 minus something, then 220 plus something. So this 220 kilometers is corrected to the nearest kilometer. That means you have to say 1 unit divided by 2. Okay, that will be 0.5. So that means you're going to subtract 0.5 here and add 0.5 to get the lower and the upper bounds respectively. So for this will give us 220.5 kilometers. So that is my upper bound of the distance. So I'll put 220.5 here over, then I need to do the same thing for what? For the so I need to calculate the lower and upper bounds of the speed. So the speed is 125 kilometers per hour, correct to nearest 5 kilometers. So to get the lower and the upper bounds, so we'll say 125 minus something, then 125 plus something. So the degree of accuracy of the speed is to 5 kilometers per hour. So we say the 5 divided by 2, that will give us 2.25. So that means we'll subtract 2.2 the degree of accuracy of the speed is 5 kilometers, okay, to the nearest. The degree of accuracy of the speed is correct to the nearest kilometers per hour. The degree of accuracy of the speed is correct to the nearest 5 kilometers per hour. So that means we divide 5 by 2, that will be 2.5. So from here we subtract 2.5 and here we add 2.5. So obviously the lower bound will be 122.5 and the upper bound will be 127.5. So we need the lower bound of the speed. That means we need 122.5. So 122.5. So if you divide 220.5 by 122.5, you get 1.8. hour. So that means the upper bound for the time is 1.8 hour, but we are told to give the answer in hours and minutes. So we already have 1 hour, then 0.8 hour. So we have 1 hour and 0.8 hour. So that 0.8 hour needs to be converted to minutes. So that will be 0.8 times 60. So that will give us 48 minutes. So that means we have 1 hour 48 minutes. So this is the end of this solution. In the next few days, I will upload the last series for paper 2, that is paper 2-1. Until then, enjoy yourself and stay cool.